All right, so this is going to be the solution to your exercise 11. Says you're going to develop a database to record and extract information for a small garage selling cars. The database contains details of customers and used cars. Database must meet the following requirements. There are a total of 6 requirements that you have to take note of. Each car has a unique car ID which is used to identify the car within the garage. Each customer has a unique customer ID which is a 5-character code. The first character is a letter which identifies the category of the customer, using P for the personal customer and B for the business customer. Telephone number of each customer is in the format of 5 digits followed by a space, then 6 digits. The field address 3 will be restricted to only Essex, Suffolk and Cambridgeshire. The garage does not purchase cars for less than 500 or sells for less than 1000. The garage does not sell cars made before 1991. Now you're required to provide an evidence of your work, including screenshots at various stages. So you are to create an evidence document in the RTF format. So let's do that. Open up Word, blank document, save it. I'm saving in the same folder. So evidence underscore my center number underscore my candidate number, and this needs to be RTF, so rich text format. Save. Look at the files jxcars.txt and jxcustomer or jxcust.csv. One is a txt or text file and one is a comma separated value file. Use these files to create a relational database. Use the most appropriate record structure, primary key fields, and relationships. Include in your evidence document screenshots that show the structure of the table, showing all the field types, primary keys, and relationship between these tables. This carries 18 marks. So let's open up Access. Click on blank database. Select where you want to save it. I will save it in the same folder. This is going to be the solution to Access EX11. Click on Create. Closing the blank table, and I will start with the import process by going to External Data, New Data from File, Text File. Both the formats are going to be imported using the text file procedure. So first, JX cars. Click on OK. It is delimited. The first row is containing the field names. Car ID seems to be long integer. This seems to be short text. Model is short text. Color is short text. Purchase price. So this is currency. Sales price. This is currency. Year, long integer. Extras is in the form of text. Sold is yes or no. Date sold is basically date with time. Customer ID is short text. Now there's a thing that I noticed. If you look closely in the extras column, can you see these speech marks? Now some entries are appearing with speech marks and some are not. The point is that your data needs to be consistent. So when you are importing, you are to review your data very carefully. It should not have any speech marks in it, no matter what. So in order to fix this, I will have to go back one step where I was choosing first row contains the field names. And then I will change the text qualifier from none to the same character which is appearing here in the data, which is the speech marks, and that will get rid of the speech marks in all my data. So make sure that when you are at this step where you have to choose the first row as the field names, make sure that all columns do not have speech marks or apostrophes in it. If it does, change the qualifier to the specified character and that will get rid of that special character. Do we get this? Yes. Data will not be imported properly. Since this was short text, this might have been a currency data type as well. So if you set that currency, speech marks is not detected as a part of the currency format, which is why you will have data import errors. So in this case, we remove it or we don't, does not make any difference, but make sure that you do check. Sometimes it is a date field, sometimes it's a price field that might have the speech marks. For in this case, it might just work with the speech marks or without it. But recommended process is that you get rid of the special characters if there are any. Okay, let's check the data types again. Car ID is long integer, short text, short text, short text, price, price. And then we have long integer, this is short text, yes or no, date sold, customer ID. We click on next. You have to choose the primary key. I will choose my own primary key, which is going to be the car ID. I can see that this is not repeating. Click on next. Over here, I need to name my table, which is cars, and I will finish the import process. Double click on it. Make sure that the data appears appropriately. Best fit your data. The sold field does not appear as yes or no. So I can change it by going to home, design view, sold. Change the format to yes, no. Go to the lookup, change it to text box. Come back to your data sheet, apply your changes, and you can see that the sold is appearing as yes or no. This is done. Close. Now the next file. Browse, jxcust. Okay. So it is delimited. We click on next. First row contains the field names. Over here, check your data. It does not have any speech marks in it, so we are good. Click on next. Customer ID needs to be short text because it has characters and numbers. Title short text, phone name short text. This is short text. Company short text. Address 1 short text, address 2, address 3 short text. Postcode short text. Telephone number, which appears to be only numbers, but there is a space in it, and also it is starting from zeros, so it is also supposed to be short text. Do not ever set telephone field as integer. Starting at 0 must be a character which you need to dial, important character, so we cannot skip it. Plus it has a space, so space is basically considered under text or string, so we choose this as short text. Click on next. The primary key seems to be the customer ID in this case. You click on next, and this is my customer table. Close. Double click on the customers table. Best fit your data. Make sure everything is in the right format. Once done, you close it. Next. Point number 3, which has 15 marks. Validate the data entry to meet the garage's requirement. Include in your evidence document screenshots that show how the validation has been achieved. First, we did not enter the table structures in our evidence document, so let's do that first. Cars, go to the design view, take a screenshot, paste it in your evidence document. Window Shift S. So the table structures are shown. We can see the table names, field names, data types, and also we can see the primary keys. Next. So we are to validate the data entry to meet the garage's requirements. Include in your evidence document screenshots that show how this validation has been achieved. These are the requirements. Each car has a unique car ID, which is to identify the car within the garage. So the car ID in the cars table is already being set as the primary key, isn't it? Right? So this will always be unique. if you try to enter a duplicate data, it will try to prompt you that okay, this entry is already existing, so this can't be done. And look at this. In the format, it says indexed. Yes, indexed means it is going to be given a sequence. No duplicates. It is being specified as no duplicates. Right, so this is the proof that the examiner needs that this is not going to have any duplicate data. So you can take a screenshot, select the car ID, take a screenshot, and it should show that the duplicates are not allowed. So one. Next, each customer has a unique customer ID, which is a 5-character code. The first character is a letter which identifies the category of the customer, using P for the personal customer or B for the business customer. So this is to be applied for the customer ID. We'll save the changes here. Coming back to the customer ID, we are to apply a validation, or let's say restrict the data entry to meet the garage's requirement. The garage's requirement is that whenever you are entering customer ID, it should start with P or B and then what? 4 numbers. And that's a must. Why? Because customer ID is a primary key. So whenever I have to add a new record, all right, so we are going to apply the validation on the customer ID that whenever we are to enter a new record for the customer, it should be starting with a P or a B and then followed by that 4 characters, 4 numbers. In order to do this, we'll come back to the design view. We make sure that we select customer ID. Under the field properties, we are going to set the validation rule. The validation rule is either it's a P or a B, but it needs to have 4 numbers along with it. So we will type in 1, 2, 3, 4. That's basically an optional character. Or B 1, 2, 3, 4. So this can be the only character which is going to be acceptable. Over here, we're going to add the validation text that you may only enter customer ID starting with P or B followed by 4 digits. In order to foolproof this, I can even put restrictions on the data entry. That while I'm entering data, I am restricted to enter only first character, an alphabet, and then 4 digits. For that, I will put in the input mask as capital L 1, 2, 3, 4. L stands for must enter a letter. And then 4 zeros must enter numbers, 4 numbers. So while entering data, we have made a restriction. After we are going to enter, we press enter, it will check whether the first character is a P or a B. We're not concerned about the digits. We are only concerned about the first character. It should be P or B. Secondly, customer ID is also present in the cars table as cust ID. So the same validation and the input masking has to be applied in this table, meaning that one field on which you apply the input masking or validation, wherever that field is in other tables, you are to apply the same validation and input masking on that field. So in the cars table, we will come back to the design view again, and we will type in the validation rule, which is P 4 question marks or B 4 question marks, and then the same text same text as of customers. So we'll take the same text, copy it, come here and paste it. We are to apply it on customer ID. Customer ID, validation rule, B question mark or P question mark. The order does not matter. And the input mask was L, 4 zeros. You all get this? Next, telephone number of each customer is in the format of 5 digits followed by a space, then 6 digits. Telephone number is basically in the customers table. We click on the telephone, come back here. It should be 5 digits and then 6 digits. So input mask 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we need a space. For space, there are multiple options. You can have a speech marks method or you can have the backslash method. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because slash means that the following character will be displayed literally. Right after the backslash, whatever the character is, it's going to be displayed literally. So I added space. So that will create the space. That is the input masking that you have to apply for telephone. Next, a field, the field address 3 will be restricted to only Essex, Suffolk or Cambridgeshire. Okay. So address 3, over here it's not the input mask, it is basically the validation rule. Essex or and then the validation text. You may only enter address 3 as What's your question?
जैसे इस पेपर में जो जो उसने पहली तीनों क्राइटेरिया दिए हैं ना वो अगर ये ना भी आप रूल्स डालें तो वो नहीं है
But it is for the data entry. You were to apply it.
लेकिन now the data entry कहाँ है
आप ना डालें तो आपके 15 मार्क्स जाते हैं बस. या हाँ मसला कोई नहीं है. Okay. Now the garage does not purchase cars for less than 500 or sells them for less than 1000. Now we have the purchase price over here. It does not purchase anything which is less than 500. That means acceptable range is what? Greater than or equals to 500. Anything less than 500. So that means 500 or more. So validation rule becomes greater than or equals to 500. So we can say we only purchase cars for 500 or above. Similarly, selling price cannot be less than 1000. That means acceptable range, sale price, validation rule, greater than or equals to 1000. Not less than. Acceptable range. Anything which is greater than or equals to 1000 should be acceptable. And over here, we only sell cars for 1000 or above. That becomes your message. The garage does not sell cars made before 1991. Before 1991 is 1990. So the acceptable models should be 1991 or above. Oh, yes. Where do we have to apply it? We have to apply it on the year field. So over here we click on the year and we come back to validation rule that should be greater than or equals to 1991. So we say that we only sell cars made on or made in 1991 or later. That will be your validation text. Close it, save all your changes. We have done or satisfied all requirements. Obviously, you have to paste screenshots of all the validations and input maskings that you have done. Now, you're going to prepare a report from the database. Your report will include only cars sold to business customers. You will need to calculate the profit for each car sold. Show only the make, purchase price, sale price, date sold, company names, and profit, sorted into ascending order of date sold. Display your name, center number, candidate number in the header, and add the title car sold to business customers. Calculate the total profit and display it at the end of the report. Format all the currency values in pound sterling, 2 decimal places. Save and print this report. So since this is a report, we go to create, we click on query design, and we add both the tables. Now, first of all, we have not made any relationship, and we know that in the cars table, the customer ID is there, and the customers table, we have the customer ID over here as well. So customer ID with the cust ID is going to be the relationship. Go to database tools, relationships, add your tables, and make your relationship. Customer ID with the cust ID. Again, this screenshot has to be pasted in your database. Click on create. The relationship type is one-to-many. Close this, save your changes. Now coming back to your report, create, query design, add both the tables. Now what do you have to do? You have to include only cars sold to business customers. Sold to business customers. Let's have sold here. Click on run. You can see that all the data which is appearing over here is sold. Still, you can apply the criteria as yes. Right? Sold to business customers. Let's have the customer ID over here. Click on run. Now the cars sold are with, if I sort them out, you can see that the cars are being sold to business customers and the personal customers as well. Only the business customers. So how do we do it? We go to the criteria and we type in B star. That will take out only those customer IDs which are starting with B. So that will be referring to only business customers, which are 22. Coming back. Now you will need to calculate the profit for each car sold. Profit can be taken out by adding the purchase price and the sales price. Can you see this? We purchased the car for this price. We sold it for this price. So what is the profit? Sale price minus the purchase price. So we add another field, sale price minus purchase price. Press enter. EXPR1 needs to be what? Profit. Click on run to see whether it's applied, and you can check a couple of entries randomly that the calculation is correct. So this is our profit. Next, what do we have to do? Show only the make, purchase price, sales price. Okay. Make, purchase price, sale price. Purchase price, sale price, date sold, company names, and profit. Date sold, we need date sold. Company name, which is the make. Make is already there. Company name, where is the company name? This is the company name. So adding it from the customers table, company name, and the profit. Sorted into ascending order of date sold. Sort the date sold in ascending order. Now these are the fields which are required. You can see you don't need sold, you don't need customer ID, but this was important. If you don't apply this, you will not be targeting only the business customers. The personal customers will also be included. This is the data required. Click on run. Best fit your query. What do we have to do next? Sorry? क्या किया? How you do it in Excel? Select all columns and rows. Double click between two columns to best fit the row columns, and double click between the rows to best fit the rows. So the query is done. We close the query and we save it by the name of the report, which is cars sold to business customers. So we type in the name, cars sold to business customers. This becomes a report. We select this, go to create, we click on report wizard. Since it's a relational database, Access will try to group the data. You have to select that option in which all the fields appear in one group. If there is a grouping applied or you want to group the data, you do it by yourself manually. You don't let Access group the data. So select at this point, how do you want to view your data? You want to view your data with all the fields present in just one common group. Always select that option. If I select this, you can see the company is basically separated. The rest of the fields are separated. So this will create a group. Do not do this. Select where all the fields present are in one group. You click on next. Over here, the Access is asking you, how do you want to add the grouping levels, or do you want to add the grouping levels? Over here, you can add your grouping if you want. So we are not supposed to group any data. Click on next. Sorting is already done. Orientation is not being specified, so we can go with landscape or portrait. It's up to us. It will be fitting all the fields on one page. We click on next, and the name of the report, cars sold to business customers. Cars sold to business customers. Click on finish. The report is created. We click close. Straight away go to your layout view. Best fit your data. That is it. What else do we need to do? Calculate the total profit displayed at the end of the report. Format all currency values in pounds and pound sterling with 2 decimal places. Save and print the report. So this profit in the layout view, I'm going to select the data, report layout design, sigma total, then click on sum. This is the total of my profit. This needs to be formatted as currency. So we right click and click on property or open a property sheet. On the right hand side under the format, we are going to select this as currency, decimal places to 2. Best fit. Sorry? Currency is automatically being set by the regional format. My regional format is set to English UK. That's why the default currency in Access is appearing as pound sterling. If your computer is regionally set on English US, the by default currency symbol will come out to be dollars. It used to be a thing previously, but now they don't put any, they don't specify that you need to go with a particular currency. You don't have to worry about currency symbols at the moment. So this is done. I can make it a bit different by going to format and selecting a bold format for this. I can even add a label right next to it so that it is labeled as, click here, report design, we add a label, and this is going to be total profit. Done. Select this, format painter, and we are going to apply the same format onto my label. So print preview, this needs to be adjusted. Layout, this is fine. Right, let's look at a print preview. Date sold is not appearing properly. Make some space for the date sold. You can see all data is appearing. You may add your credentials at the bottom of the header or bottom of the page or the report. So this was your first report. Save your changes. You're going to prepare a report and a graph or a chart showing the average sales price of more expensive cars. Calculate the average sale price of each make of car for all cars in the database. Fine. So this is another report. We are to use this data to create a graph or a chart. So we click on create first. We click on query design. We add both our tables. We're going to add make and calculate the average sale price of each make of the car. So sale price is this. Click on run. I'll just sort the makes in ascending order so that you can see there are a couple of Alfa Romeos, Audis, BMWs, right? So we are to calculate the total sale price. We are not concerned whether they are sold or not. Are we? Right? Please also note, from where did I take my first two fields? I took the first two fields from cars. Okay, fine. Average sales price of each car for all the cars in the database. All the cars means what? Sold or not sold. Do we get this? Sold or not sold. All cars. Select only makes of the car where the average price is more than 15,000. Sort this data into ascending order of the make. Okay, fine. First of all, let's add sold field. Again, the field is added from the cars table. If I click on run, what do you see? All of them are sold. Why do you think this data is appearing like this? Is because of our relational database. This table is linked with what? Customers table. If I open up customers table, only those customers are listed who have bought a car. If you open up any customer, it will be only linked with those records in the cars table where there is a customer ID present. True? If I show you customer or the cars table, look at the last column. Customer ID is only present against those records where the car is sold. But if it is not sold, you don't have the customer ID. Right? So in our average price, in our sales price, are we not supposed to include these cars? Yes or no? We are to include them. average sales price of all the cars in the database. What does that mean? Only sold or both the categories? Average sales price of all the cars in the database. So in our query, when we add both the tables, the relationship is there, and due to the relationship, we are only getting the records of those cars which are actually what? Sold. I took the fields from only the cars table. If I remove the customer table from my query and click on the data sheet, can you see that I can see both types? I have sold as yes and I've got sold as no. So those cars are also included which are not sold. Sales price उसकी भी include करनी है कि नहीं? Okay. So coming back, I will just remove sold. This was just to add, or let's say prove a point. Now we have to make an average of what? Sales price, not cars. Sales price. For that, I will add what? Grouping. The total is supposed to be based on average. We click on run. This is the average price of all the cars in the database, whether sold or not sold. Secondly, we are to view only those cars whose average price is more than 15,000. So we go back to the design view, put the criteria as greater than 15,000. Click on run, and this is the data in which we have the average price more than 15,000. Next, what do we have to do? Ascending order of make. So go back to design view, ascending order of make, sort this in ascending order, click on run. This is in the ascending order now. What else? Use this extract to prepare a report. Add the title average sales price of luxury cars to this report. Place your name, center number, candidate number in the header and save the report. So we are to build the report based on this data. Close this query, click on save. Save it by the title of this report, which is average sale price of luxury cars. Click on it, create report wizard, add both the fields, click on next, 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 and finish. So this is the report generated. You can add your name and credentials by going to the design view, adding a label. Any problem? Close. Secondly, point number 8, use this extract to produce a graph or a chart comparing the average sale price of each make. Select the most appropriate type of graph or chart to display the data. Ensure the labels are fully displayed. Place your name, center number, candidate number on the chart. Save and print this chart. What do? We click on the query, click on the external data, go to export, click on Excel. Click on browse, select where you want to save it. I will save it in the same folder. Click on save and OK. Now open up your Excel file. You have to build a graph chart. You can select only the data or you can select like this. Insert. Now this is basically what? Average sales price of luxury cars. You can add elements, add chart elements, axis title horizontal, axis title vertical, and you can also have the data labels to be displayed outside. And close this. We can resize this so that the data does not overlap. Axis title over here, we are going to type in average price, and over here we are going to type in make. This is our chart. This can be exported as a PDF. This can be saved it as an Excel file, depends on the requirement. So close it and save it. Last point, you're going to prepare a report comparing the average profit for the sale of vehicles to both personal and business customers. We have to calculate the average profit of cars sold to business customers and sold to personal customers. Do we get the requirement? Produce a report which shows the average profit per sale for each of the categories of customer, personal or business. Place your name, center number, candidate number in the header, save and print the report. Very simple. We click on create, click on query design. We add both our tables. Why both are tables? Because we are to calculate the average profit. Profit is only based on whether the product was sold or not, right? And we saw it in the previous report as well. When we add both the tables, it only imports that data which is actually what? Sold. So look at this, customer ID. We need the profit. I can, without even adding sale price and purchase price, I can add, or let's say write down, okay, the purchase price minus sale price. And this is what? Profit. Purchase price, sales price. Click on run. So sale price minus purchase price, sorry. Sale price minus purchase price. This is our profit. Click on run. Okay. Now the problem is we have to calculate the average profit. Okay, we know that we can group it. So we click on group, and for the profit, we are going to group it by average. We click on run. It appears as separate entries. It does not appear as only one entry for the personal and one entry for the business. Why is it appearing as separate entries? Because of the customer ID, which is unique. They are different. However, please note, if I take out the first character from each customer ID, will I be able to separate all the B's and P's? And if I group the data, will it be appearing as one element? Beta ji, I am saying if I extract the first character, so आपके पास P or B रह जाएगा ना? And if I apply grouping, so will it be grouped or not?
Yes, sir.
It will be. It is not grouping because of the IDs which are separate or unique, different. So in our design view, on the customer ID, I want to take out the first character. How do you do it in Excel? Left. Okay. So we type in left bracket open customer ID, which is the name of the field, comma, take out one character. Isn't this the function that we write?
Yes, sir.
We click on enter, and this is basically our customer, or let's say customer type. Let's have underscore type. Click on run. You see what happened? If I just remove this grouping of profit, this is how the data is. The first character is basically taken out from the customer ID. The type is either B or P. All the profits are there of all the cars which are sold. Yeah. Now I just need to add grouping and take out the average profit. Click on average. Click on run. This is the average profit of all the cars sold to business customers and the personal customers. Do we get this? This was the report. So the name of the report is going to be cars sold to business. No, it's average profit of or on cars sold to business or personal customers. Select this, we go to create, we click on report wizard. Average profit, we add these two, click on next, next, and finish. This is the report that they required. You can add your credentials, save your report, print it in PDF or whatever. So this was the solution to your exercise 11.